All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have officially made my first top 8. And this was a tournament of about, I think it was about 46, 47 people. We're now going into game 7 and game 8 against this awesome guy named Russ. And he actually has his own YouTube channel as well, Someone's PC. If you haven't checked it out, I'll be linking them down in the description below. But he is a veteran of TCGs, and I am a novice. So this is like David versus Goliath here. You've got me learning how to even play the game, basically, against, you know, a seasoned vet that was playing in the super pre-release events, and really just a master of his craft at this game. And he's playing the Law deck. I've got Zoro. And yeah, it's the first game, because it's a best 2 out of 3. The first game I feel like was pretty decent. Yeah, it was pretty decent, but it was a hard-fought game for me. I felt as though he had not drawn extremely well with his Nami search and his Bonnie searches, but he was able to still just meticulously whittle me down. And I mean, I put up a pretty good fight, in my opinion. I feel like I did pretty good for, you know, where my deck was and where I was as a player. But as you can see, turn 1 I get Nami down. Turn 1 for him, he puts down Nami and Bonnie. I've got Robin, which is great. I swing at life, he'll take that one hit. And he'll swing at life. I'll take that. But then the good old-fashioned jet pistol takes out my Nico Robin, which is such an important card to have against Law. I mean, all of the one-cost cards that he will have on his field to be able to use his leader's effect and shambles, bring them back, put out new cards. It's a bit terrifying, you know? And yeah, so I really got to do a solid job here of trying to keep these, you know, these cards out of the field, but it's hard to do when you don't have stuff like Nico Robin, and I didn't have any of the film deck Beppos at this point in here. But we'll throw down the one cost Dawn Nami, as I like to call her as well. And I feel like my board feels good at this start, but then this turn is where, you know, he's got all the Dawn in the world to work with a deck like this. And so he can start to build up, you know, those 5 characters on board and really, really make it difficult for me. So right now I have only the rested Zoro, but still 4 life, feeling comfortable. He's planning out the attack, see what he's got to do, what's best for him. He's going to play Otama, weaken Zoro by 2k, and attacks with leader. I'm not going to burn 2 cards at this point. I've only got 4 in hand, I believe. So, just felt like it would be a silly waste. Yeah. I think he's just doing some math in his head right now, but he taps Bonnie. He's looking at some of his cards. And I know that he, if I remember correctly, he told me that he bottom decked 2 of his 5-drop Trafalgar Laws after this match. So I was like, oof, that's rough. And I'm not entirely sure how many he runs in the deck, but, you know, 2 of them I would imagine he either runs like 2 or 3. And yeah, that's rough. But as you see, he puts down the Beji, puts down the Nami, gets up to 5, uses those last 2 to shambles and bring out the Luffy, swings at life, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Okay. So that was a heck of a play. He's got some board presence right now. And realistically, I got to have 2 swings to be able to try and take out that Luffy if I want to. He's got the Beji blocker. He's probably got multiple counters in hand. So I'm not feeling super great after that turn of his. But yeah, his play was spot on. It was perfect. So I jet pistol it, just knowing that I'm probably not going to be able to get through that blocker as well as some of the counters to take that out. And I'm not trying to be an extremely low amount of life this early on. But I'll throw down the Zoro, I'll swing again, And yeah, he'll counter out with an Usopp. And I'm going to pass. I believe I pass turn over. And yeah, he's just doing some board situations. He's only missing one card. And yeah, I tell you what, this was my second game against a law player ever. So I didn't really know what to expect, but now I've got a couple more law games under my deck, like playing against, or under my belt, playing against this deck, and it's difficult. It really is. I don't know how I would explain how to play around it per se. I mean, Zoro feels like it would be strong against his deck, but I feel as though without any of those film deck Beppos or the Nico Robins, it is so hard to deal with a lot of these one costs. Like, because many of them are just going to continuously stay active and get shambled out. And so it makes you feel like, what do? You just attack for life? Well, he's drawing too much because of Bonnie. And so he'll swing it at me for 6 here. I'm now down to 2 life as well. And I'm shocked. Am I not drawing any counters? You can see the Nico Robin in my hand right now, but I'm shocked I haven't been using any counters at all. But yeah, I think he passes after looking at a few things. But I learned a lot from Russell here. He's got such a different outlook on the game because he's been playing TCGs for a very long time, and it was kind of eye-opening. Some of the ways that he was explaining how he would look at matches, and I was like, wow, this is great because I never thought of it that way, and it helps me as a novice and somebody that's learning, towards making better plays and better calls on situations. And right here, I'm really kind of at a loss of what should I do, because realistically he has only one blocker, but if I swing at some of the stuff on his board, I think he's still got 5 cards in hand. He's going to easily refill it, start drawing more, shambles, every card that he doesn't need to protect and all that. And that he doesn't want to have on the field so that he can bounce it back and start drawing more. And yeah, so I start swinging for the Zoro, and I think this was, I wouldn't call it a mistake, but it wasn't a great play, playing the 5-cost Luffy. I don't know. I still think that potentially putting down the Nico Robin, maybe swinging with some of the Namis, was like the better move, but if I'm being honest with you, I genuinely don't know how I would have been able to do as much as I could to beat this deck. It was really tough. It was extremely tough. I felt like I put up a decent fight, and I tried to, whittle out some damage and make some moves, but it's just the plays, the big brain plays of Law, that's, in my opinion, it seems to be the hardest deck to pilot, but it just seems like you can really make some incredible plays if you just, do some calculations correctly. It's very impressive. And so when I was watching this, it got me thinking like, wow, okay, this is like a bit of an inspiration as to how I want to eventually be seeing and looking at the game and planning out my attacks and everything. So it was a lot of fun. And right now I've kind of got him on the ropes though, because, well, I shouldn't say on the ropes, I should say probably feeling uncomfortable, and it's simply because he didn't draw very well. He was able to draw a lot of counters, but he wasn't able to draw the cards that really makes his deck shine. And you'll see in match 2 of ours that it is a completely different game when he gets those cards that allow him to truly shine and his deck to do its best. So right now, just playing the Bonnie, getting some search out of it. He's looking at his trash, so I guess he's trying to figure out, okay, how many of these cards should I be expecting, in my, to find. And so he will shambles with the law blocker and put down, oh, the suspense. Yep, there we go. Nice killer. Gonna kill the Nami. And, yeah, not too bad, but putting down another Nami, still saving 2 Dawn, is rather, rather rough. Tell you what. Rather rough. And so he was telling me to rest my Dawn there, because I think I just drew him back after he killed the Nami. He just wanted to make sure that I didn't have enough for Red Hawk. And I was like, oh, no, whoops. I just drew him back. Yeah, so he's going to take a Nico Robin there, I believe it was. So I'm not sure if he wanted that for the 1k counter to try and get it down on board. But, yeah. He'll take back the Otama and place the good old law here, which allows a restand of a supernova, if I'm not mistaken. So he restands the Bonnie, so it can't even be swung at. And I'm like, oh, okay. This is interesting. And yeah, I had to look at it because I actually hadn't even really seen anyone using that card before this day. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. That gives me enough opportunities to try and like actually take him out this turn. So he'll swing for 5 at lead, and I'm pretty sure do I take the life here? Honestly, I think I should. Like, he's probably got to have a lot of counters to only have 1 blocker on field right now and feel good about it. So I don't know. Yeah, I take the life right here, and I'm feeling decent. I feel as though all I need is to just attach some Dawn, try and get through the law blocker. I got 4 swings at the moment and potentially 5 in hand if I drop down, a Rush Zoro or a Rush Luffy. And yeah, I don't know. There's probably a way that I maybe could have played this perfectly, but I believe he had about 6 cards in hand. I would imagine the vast majority of them are counters, just basically preparing for this turn. Because if I whiff this turn, I lose, essentially. And yeah, so obviously got to throw 1 under Zoro. Oh, my swinging... Okay, yeah. I didn't know if I was swinging for 6 or not. I feel as though probably the right play is to swing for 8. Maybe. That's tough. That is tough. I think I would want to swing for 8, try and get him to burn 2 blockers or so. But I'm gonna do 7. Oof. Ooh. Oh no, I did it. I asked him. Yeah, I asked him if I could, and then I was like, you know what? Nah. He was like, you're fine. I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, he was really cool. He knew. I talked to him the week beforehand and just telling him like, yeah, I'm really excited. My goal is to hit top 8 next week, and which is this week. That this video was recorded in, and I did make top 8, so I was very proud of myself. But yeah, he's just counting out my Dawn, seeing what attacks I could potentially do. So he takes a life there, which does make me a little sad. I think I was trying to get 2 cards burned, but I play the Uta. Ooh, I don't know if I like this play. I don't know if I like this play, because that now limits me to only 2 more swings versus potentially having 3 more swings. Yeah, that was probably not my best play. Yeah, so I'll swing 6. He'll just counter that out. I'll swing 7, and he'll just take the life, and yeah, that's game. That's game. And so look, I love this. He just puts all of his Dawn and goes, hey. And I'm like, oh, I got it. Nope. Good game. And then we just sit there and we chat for a little bit as we shuffle our decks, and we head right into game 2. And he was telling me that he bottom decked 2 of his 5-drop laws, or I think it was 2. I can't remember exactly, but I just remember he bottom decked a few that he was like, oh, damn, that really sucked. But match 2 of ours is a completely different story. It just felt like, spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I got my ass whooped. All right, I got my ass handed to me on a silver platter, and it had like all the garnishes right next to it, and I just had to look at it and go, Jesus, all right. But it was everything for me as a learning experience, and I had a really good time playing against Russell, because I knew that in order for me to get better, I have to play against better people. And, you know, this was one of those matches that I was seeded 8th, he was seeded 1st, and he got the better of me in both games. But I think I don't know, it made me feel a little more confident afterwards, because I knew that there were some issues with my deck, and I feel like had I not misplayed certain parts of my first game, that I could have potentially taken a game off him. But it was tough. It was tough. Yep. Oh, no shot. Yeah, so he top lifes Jet Pistol, takes care of my Sanji. I was really hoping to take an early life from myself and simultaneously get a life or burn some cards from his with that. But, you know, it's just the way the cookie crumbles. So he's going to add 4 cards down and pass turn. I'm up to 5 Dawn now. It's not looking great, you know. Even with 5 Dawn, he's already got 4 cards on the field. He's going to be at 6 Dawn next turn. I'll swing for 6, put down the Sanji, swing for another 7. So he countered out the 6 with a Brook, but then takes the life for the Sanji, and there's that 5-drop law. He finds it on the Bonnie search, so it's about to be a very rough it's about to be a very, very rough turn. I know that pretty much after the first game, the one time that he dropped that was the turn that he got the most value out of his cards and got the most stuff done, and it sucked. It was tough. I was really trying my hardest, but it's one of those things that I don't know what I could have done differently in some of these situations. I feel as though my deck wasn't a great matchup for Law, although he did tell me that that Zoro was actually favored. But you have to remember that you actually have to be good to be favored, so so that was a bit of a blunder on my behalf. And I did a little miscalculation here, not thinking how hard he would try and go for the Sanji, and yeah, he shambles that, puts out the oh my gosh, shambles everything. I'm like, wow, I just burnt all my cards trying to save that Sanji, and you did me dirty. It hurts. And so I was telling him that, and he said, yeah, man, you should have just let it die. And yeah, I think that maybe the 1 or 2 life that he would have potentially taken would have been helpful. I actually would have been interested to know, would he have taken those lives? Or would he have just left them or pass turn and let me kind of relax a little bit, you know? Breathing room. So now I'm going to swing for 6. He brings Trafalgar Law up, and yeah, I've got 1 Dawn left. I put down the chopper, and I'm like, oh, great. Oh, that was a quick turn. Let's pass it over to you, man. And, you know, here we go. He's looking. He's finding great cards. There we go. 5-drop Law again. Just almost impossible to work with. But he'll swing for 6. Oh, and I realized, oh, wow. I was like, do you mind if I put this back? And I went, no, never mind. I should have used the chopper. I don't know why I didn't. I have no idea why I didn't. Either way, I would have lost him because of Zoro or Luffy. But still, I would have liked to use the chopper. And, yeah. Well, now I'm just like, all right, well, I might as well just take the life since I've got the chopper up. Might use the block, but I'll just take the life. And I remember this so distinctly in the second game. I was drawing nothing but just rough cards. Absolutely rough cards. Yeah, it did not feel good. It did not feel very good. But sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And yeah, I'm contemplating whether I should counter or use the chopper. And I'm just realizing how deep in the hole I am. I just said, you know what? I'm just going to take the last life and shoot for the stars. See what we got. I know he's got one blocker on the field, but I'm like, no, I don't really think there's a way I can do this. Yeah. I was like, that was a quick game. I appreciate it. It's just so impressive, the plays that you can make with Law. I don't know with the deck that I was playing how I would have been able to manage it. I know now that with a Luffy deck that I've been working on, how I would be able to manage this. But it is still, it's very, very aggressive. But it's also very reliant on having the right cards. If you draw incorrectly, you know, if you draw poorly, it can be extremely tough as a Law player. But yeah, we gave it our best. He brings his blocker up. I swing, no. I thought I was about to swing for 7 with lead. No, we'll swing with 6, you know, because why not? Just let him block that again with Otama. And I'll swing with Zoro. And he'll take the life. And I said, good game, man. There's no way. I was like, there's no way. You just hit me once next turn and I'm out. So, super, super nice guy. Russ has been giving me a lot of pointers here and there on how I can play better, maybe what I could do differently with my deck. And all in all, just a great guy. Super fun to play against. And yeah, I mean, I'm just really happy to go to these locals. They're a great group of people, and I keep learning so much each week. And I hope that you guys have been enjoying the videos and maybe learning something new too. And if not, just enjoying watching someone learning and their journey through trying to, you know, become better at the game. But either way, I appreciate you guys watching as always, and I hope you have a great day. Peace.